Hey guys, this is Justin. Welcome to another video. I wanted to do a bit of a Star Wars news roundup today, and unfortunately we are starting on a bit of a dour note. I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this, but I do think I've got some interesting perspective. So a couple of years ago, the Star Wars world was introduced to Unreal Cinema. They had the very lofty goal of adapting Knights of the Old Republic in the Unreal Engine, not in making another game, but in making a film for Knights of the Old Republic. It was supposed to be even a one-to-one recreation. I did a video highlighting some of the early work that was shown, as did many Star Wars YouTubers, and there was a lot of excitement. Things seemed to be progressing well. A voice cast was revealed, we got a look at certain scenes. There was even a short film which got 3.5 million views, but the last thing we really heard from Unreal Cinema came 11 months ago and was a teaser of Episode 1. Now, I'll admit, aside from sort of following the progression of the fan series from the periphery, I wasn't as familiar with the KOTOR fan remake as others were. 100% Star Wars put out a good video yesterday, which I'll link down below, but the long and the short of it is that the fan recreation has been cancelled. Most notably, if you were a patron, you'd probably see that the Unreal Cinema Patreon, which I was actually subscribed to, has been closed down, but there was also an announcement made on the Discord by one of the team members, and again, credit to 100% Star Wars for getting this. I'm not on the Discord, but there are a few interesting bits, and again, check out his video for more, that I want to pull out. Basically, what we learn is that Scott Anderson, Unreal Cinema himself, has taken on a ton of work for this project, and as a result, his mental health has suffered. Sort of reading in between the lines, you get the idea that he pretty much ghosted the crew on the project, and it's been now canceled. And if I'm being honest, I've got mixed feelings about this. Obviously, I'm disappointed. Straight off the bat, of course. I'm a Star Wars fan. I love Knights of the Republic. I wanted to see this vision come to life. But I would also be lying if I were to act like this is a big surprise. Like, this was a monumental undertaking, recreating the entire game basically from scratch with new voice acting, assets, animation. It's quite simply too much for one person or even a small team, especially if they're not working full time. As a creator, definitely a different kind of creator, I also understand the feeling of overpromising and feeling immense pressure to follow through and just the stresses of that. Now, I can only speak for me. I can't say that Scott was feeling this same thing, but sometimes when I get really excited about a project or something I want to do, I almost get like manic about it. Now, not manic from like a diagnosed medical point of view, but just to the point where when I get excited about something, I like to talk about it. I like to make all these early plans, reach out to people. Then later, I'm sort of left trying to figure out how all of that is actually going to work. For me, this has mostly worked out. Battle of the Dreadnoughts, that was something I worked on with E.C. Henry. Lots of money invested there. On a bigger scale, my Squadrons and Halo tournaments that I've run, those are a ton of money and require so much organization. And there were definitely times where I wondered, why did I promise myself into this corner? I wish I didn't have to do this. Now, at the end, you always come out happy, but I was only able to succeed in those situations because of the team around me. Based on what I'm reading, one of the main issues is that, well, Scott took on too much work on his own, but it was also his vision, so I kind of understand it. I also do think it's kind of crappy to ghost a team that you've been working with, but I also understand how when you're under so much stress, even the little things can really just add, like you run out of bandwidth. That's me a lot of the time. Like, my Discord mods are probably watching this and thinking, that's kind of Eck with the Discord. He kind of just ghosts after reappearing every once in a while and trying to be better. And yeah, that's true. That's what happens when you've got a million things on the go. And it doesn't mean you don't care about the project or anything like that. It's just you run out of bandwidth. There are only so many hours in the day. Ultimately, something has to get cut for your overall happiness. On a side note, that's part of the reason why I restructured my Patreon. I found that under the previous model, I simply wasn't delivering enough to make it worthwhile for the patrons. I felt like I was missing deadlines. lines or just straight up not following through, I reconfigured it to this new book club, which I think offers a lot more value, but in a way that more holistically fits into what I do in a fun way. Anyway, I know people are going to be frustrated by this news, especially those who were patrons, and I get that, I really do, and if you donated money and you feel ripped off, I think that's probably a fair feeling. But I will say I also empathize with the creator. I do think he could have went about a better way of sort of letting his team in on what was going on, but that's the way it goes. But that's really all I had for this story. It just sucks. KOTOR is cursed. It really is. But also, just a reminder, 100% Star Wars, his videos in the description. Also, he's like 100 subs away from 100,000, so congrats there. All right, the other little bit of news I wanted to talk about was the reveal of a couple new Ahsoka sets, most notably the E-Wing. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. I don't really know what the news is here. We're getting this set. That's cool. We also got the name of the Inquisitor. I won't say it in case you guys want to go in blind, but I don't know. There's not a whole lot there. I gotta say, so far, Ahsoka is shaping up to be good on the ship front. Not only do we get that scene from the last trailer with the Home One fleet. Should I do a video breaking down the strength of that force, by the way? But we've also now got two really cool ship sets. The Ghost, which we got leaked earlier on, and then now the E-Wing versus Shin's fighter. I actually don't know which one I'm going to get. I love Star Wars Rebels and I love the Ghost, but the E-Wing, it was genuinely one of my favorite Legend ships, and I'm still like bamboozled by the fact that it's going to be on screen. Plus, that set comes with two ships, so I don't know. I might have to get that one, or realistically, I'll buy both with my business account. Hopefully, my wife doesn't see them, and me and my son will sort of build them like gremlins down in my basement. But that's all I've got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. The other big news is the writers' strike. Not really much to say about that. Obviously, I support the striking writers. There's been some discussion about the role of social media influencers or those who are doing unpaid promotion of movies and such. Some even going so far as calling YouTubers scabs and whatnot. Me personally, I'm going to operate based on my ethical guidelines. I will be talking about Ahsoka. The SAG guidelines are totally happy with that as well. So if you see someone being unreasonable on either end of the spectrum, talk to them about it. But that's all I've got for today. See you next time.